Hello, crazy people! So, in this week's project, I decided to do something a little bit more crazy, a little bit more unrealistic. So, I had this idea to make a composition like if I was having an idea. So, I created this composition here, and I'm gonna tell you what I did. The first thing I did was to set up my black background, and I put my Godox light on the side with a beauty dish, and I set up my camera using my 24 to 70 millimeters, and I used on the 70 millimeters and on f8. Before starting to take my portrait, I actually took a photo of a bulb that I had at home, and that bulb would be used to be placed in my head on Photoshop. So I did my makeup, basic makeup pretty much. I used these clothes I'm using now actually, and I used again Imaging Edge by Sony to take the photos. So as I was looking on my phone, I could pause and see where I was going. So right now I'm going to show you what I did on Photoshop to come up with that image. Here we are in Photoshop, and this is the raw file. The first thing I did was to start to do a skin treatment. Just used a spotty healing brush, and I removed some skin imperfections. I'll show you. So this is what it was, and this is after the treatment. So you can see huge difference. Then I did a little bit of burning dodge. So burning dodge are these two very useful tools on Photoshop. You usually use dodge on the highlights of a face or a body or whatever, and you will use the burn tool in the shadows. That's to create a little bit of more contrast in the photo. It also helps to, you can eliminate a lot of things with that. Very useful tool. I used a little in my face here as well, and that is the after. Then I used the crop tool to crop, not to crop, but to make it bigger layer. See, before it was like that, and see what I did for the cropping, I just open up the cropping. So when you do that, it will create the extra space you have. With my brush tool, I sampled my backdrop and I just painted. Very easy. Then I brought the bulb. This is the bulb I took the photo. Also using my backdrop, the bulb was in the floor. I masked and I just dragged all the way to the project. And I brushed a little to make it a bit transparent. And I decided to remove a few things that were around the bulb that I didn't like. Then I created, this is a layer that I created with a brush on white, and using sort of a, so if you go here, use a soft round brush, you make it bigger like that, and it must be on white to create the light. So like that, and you can click and so it will create. See, I just did, I'm just going to Control Z that, but it will create a sort of a light. That's how I did. You can put on color dodge as well afterwards, and you control the fill. I can put down the fill a little bit, yeah, opacity as well. You just see what works better for you. Then I create a curve. I create a curve to make the highlights a bit warm, because my intention is to have a warm bulb. So my curves, I put down the blue on highlights and also create a mask. So you create a mask here. And see, I just painted where I wanted that to be. Next, more lighting. Same. Create a layer, new layer. Came with the brush and did another light. This one was like, it's all barely noticeable, but look at the bulb. I got my paint tool and I drawed. So I just drawed. And I think I put on multiply. Oh, linear burn. I put on linear burn and it's there. That's it. Look at the bulb, you see. With my pen tool on black. Then I created more light. Well, I just thought it would be better to create more light. And I put a layer this time. Then I just painted where I wanted the light to hit. More curves. Because I thought I needed more warmth. And when I did the curves, I also did a mask. And I did, see this symbol here? That means that I came over here and I changed the underlying layer to only get this effect that the curves is giving to the highlights and not to the shadows. That makes it more real. Then I did a color lookup. The color lookup I used was the crisp warm. I just browsed around and I was like, well, I need something warm. And the crisp warm worked better for me. You could do different ones. See, I'm changing here for you to see. You just need to find what works better for you, you know. But I like the crispy warm in this case. And I made a mask and I only put where I wanted that to hit with the mask. See, the green is where I wanted to put it. See, I put it on the highlights where the lights were hitting anyway, where they should hit with, you know. You just need to guess because obviously you don't really have a light source here, you know. You just need to guess. Do your best. And also I did that underlying thing that I told you before, underlying layer, just to hit highlights. Then I did a gradient. I did this gradient because this is a linear gradient, because I think I gave you a sort of a vignette and I really wanted that to just sort of hit here, because there is no source of light here, which is a lie, because there was a light here that I put it here. That was where my light was hitting, but you know, I just made it look that there was no light over here, and it sort of gave this impression a little. Then I made another curve. This one is interesting, you like it. It's very subtle. We use a lot there with makeup, to retouch makeup. Look at my cheeks, look at my lips. See? You color fill, you use color fill. And I color fill with this color here. I just got one color, I just guessed. Usually this is a little like a rosé sort of color that works good with lips and cheeks. So then I create a mask, and then obviously I just so you sort of have to put a mask in black, you know. So you make a mask in black, get the white brush, and then you mask where you wanted to. I'll show you where I masked. See, lips and cheeks. Then I created this layer here. So if you hit Command Shift Option E, it will merge all these layers together and you create a layer. So that's what I did. So they're all together here, and I did a few adjustments, which I will show you what I did. I'm just gonna get closer. See, I had a highlight here that came from my lights that was here, so you can see. And but my source of lights is now here. So what I did was I changed it using the cloning tool, and I changed the source of light. Other thing I did dodge then, using this dodge tool, my eyes, and say you can see the highlights a bit more, you know, so it creates a better effect on the eyes, just a bit better. And then I did another Command Shift Option E, and I create another layer. And this layer here, I did a liquefying my posture here. See, it's usually I try to pay attention my expression, and I don't pay attention to my posture, and my posture is really bad, so I just adjust my posture. Much better, eh? And I look at this leaf here too, over here, adjust it as well, much better. And at the end there is a color correction, stylizing, where I usually go and do a curve like I did it here, and you can see that I played with the blue up on shadows, so more blue in the shadows, and putting the blue down, it will create a yellowish highlight. And I think I put a little bit of red, see, just to a little of magenta cast, because I wanted that to be a little magenta. So this is really up to you what you wanted to do. I didn't do anything on grain, but yeah, that is really up to you. That's it. This is the final image. That's it, guys. I hope you liked this crazy project I did this week. If you like this project, if you wanted to see more of our creative photography, please like this video, subscribe, share with your friends, and I see you next time.